Warrior, an important day today. I don't know when you'll be watching this video, but it is Friday, May 31st. I will leave it at that. With everything going on in our country and all of the distractions and all of the injustices, and you can pick out whatever you think those might be, I want to keep on track about kids, about the border, because nobody is talking about it right now. If I don't hear, let's just get, I try not to be too political, and I do that because I want my focus to be truly on educating you, bringing facts and truths to you about what is going on with children, what families need to know, resources. You know what it is about at the Warriors. But I must say, whether you want to vote Republican, Democrat, I don't hear on anybody's agenda anything about the issues we talk about here on the Warriors. What about the protection of children? What about online protections, real-time protections? If you go to my Twitter account, and again, let me remind you, everything is called Lynn's Warriors. I've made it very easy for you. I posted a story, something that happened recently in California with Senator Sharon Grove, with a bill where anything with child sex trafficking was a felony, and the problems she has had with that state legislature. But I want you to go to my Twitter. Actually, I want you to follow it as well. I want to build numbers. I'm not shy about saying that because, as we know, there's a lot of censorship about different things, but there's not censorship about child sexual abuse material on the internet. Go figure. Call me wacky. So I really do want to build numbers. So please, at Lynn's_Warriors, and look at this post I did about Senator Sharon Grove. To the extent of, on the floor in California recently, Senator Eggman, she stood up. She called herself a progressive. She said, I am quitting. If you can't protect children, if you're allowing men to abuse children, if you all sitting here, and I'm paraphrasing a little bit, I'm done. I'm done. A very reasonable woman. I would like all of you to see that. But let's get back to children. Again, I'm not hearing it on either one's agenda. And I know you might say, well, there's so much more going on. Why? Well, while we say that, yes, they're slipping so much in behind the scenes. We can never, ever take our eye off the ball when it comes to the protection of children and families. Just Operation Lone Star, just yesterday in Texas, 24 illegal children, illegal aliens. I don't like to call children aliens, but let's face it, I don't call them migrants. They're illegal aliens. 24 illegal aliens came over the border in Texas. 19 of them were minors, children, 9-year-olds, 12-year-olds. So when we talk about children, let me talk about all children for a second. Put your thoughts aside about the border. We've got our children being abused in America. We've got these children coming over, unaccompanied, by the way, being sent to America. What's a 9-year-old going to do when they get here? I know, the narrative is, well, they're processed and they're picked up by a family member. Well, I'm here to tell you that is not happening. I don't know where that 9-year-old goes. I don't know where that 12-year-old goes. What I do know is they disappear into the system. They disappear. And once they're processed or whatever they do with them, they are being picked up. They are being exploited. They are being farmed out throughout the United States. Just a reminder that a year ago, April, the Biden administration alone admitted they lost track of 85,000 children. They lost the kids. They said they lost track. But when pressed, they put out a statement that said, well, when we did our follow-up a month later after we processed them, nobody picked up the phone. Nobody knew where they were. We couldn't find them. So we lost them. Bye-bye. A year ago, April. So now we have children. We have our children being abused. We have these children being abused. Remember, they didn't ask for this. Children don't ask for anything. They're born into this. We do know the right, the left, they like cheap labor. So we do know a high percentage of kids are sex trafficked, labor trafficked, forced servitude. While I'm here in the middle of New York City, and I see a young woman in particular Yeah, young women. I don't see, they could be 15 or 25. I can't tell. They're very, very young. Standing on corners with coolers selling bottles of water, packs of candy. There are other young women, again, I can't tell their ages, with babies on their backs or children sitting on the right on the cement, and they usually have a poster sign, "Help me feed my family." So this overall, the discussion about children is a humanitarian crisis in the United States. I don't care who you like, who's your candidate, upcoming election, whether it is Donald Trump, Joe Biden, neither one of them right now are talking about, I understand a lot of things are going on. Neither one of them is talking about the issues we talk about here on The Warriors. And it is just heartbreaking because, like I told you, kids on the border, unaccompanied, what happens to them? Nobody seems to care. What about our children? What about this new global study put out from the UK? Again, Facebook, Twitter, Lynn's Warriors, you'll find it. What about 300 million children being abused across the globe? Now, what do we always tell you? If it's 300 million, it could be double the number. Nobody really knows. When I question law enforcement about true stats and numbers, it's the best guess when these various studies are put out. So 300 million, 1 in 9 American men, again, admit that they have tried or done something sexual with a minor, with a child. More admit they would do it if they could get away with it. I don't know what we call this. I'm going to have to just admit it is the moral destabilization of society. Anything with a child is against the law. Yet with all of this noise and distraction, nobody in the last few days is even talking about this. And this is why I want each and every one of us, if you're listening to this, share the information. Talk to your neighbors, your family members, appropriately. We're not putting out information that's not correct. Keep an eye on the kids, especially school. If you have grandchildren, school-age children, including our vulnerable teens, listen, more time on their hands during the summer. You're going to send them away to camp. Be very careful. I hope you have done your due diligence and you're checking out camp, who's working there. And listen, in 2024, it's okay to say, I want background checks. I know places admit they do background checks and this and that, but you got to do it yourself. There are far too many stories where I've heard that and things are not as they seem. I personally am very happy my children are grown. They are adults and I'm not dealing with camps or devices or any of that because I don't know what I would do. And that's why one of the reasons I formed the Warriors, so I can be here to help you. So much is going on. We are on a nonstop path. We've just formed our youth council. More on that later. We are going to be working with our young people to empower them, engage them, educate them. You have to do it too. Don't sit your kid in front of that phone. Don't. And if you do, make sure you have, not that I'm recommending that, make sure you have the safety filters on. I can't tell you what age to buy your child, a gaming console, a phone, any of that. Parent up though. Delay. Think of this hashtag. Delay is the way. Why would a kid need a phone before 8th grade? And if he does need a phone or she needs a phone, plenty of good companies like Gabb, GABB.com is the website, devices that look just like a regular iPhone, but they have no internet. The internet is the devil. As much as we love it, we're able to communicate right now across the globe with Lynn's Warriors. It's about the kids. So I'm very concerned in this election year with all of this chaos. Nobody's got their eye on the minors. I want you all to go to lynswarriors.org. Also volunteer, donate, whatever you can do. If you just share a tweet, a Facebook posting, do anything you can, especially all the studies. I want you to be educated because our hashtag is Community Creates Change. I just filmed a lovely segment with Nancy Grace, Crime Stories with Nancy Grace. She's putting together a 1-hour special about missing children and a lot of these issues. I'll keep you posted when that is actually going to air sometime in the near future. We've got a lot of media dates. We are going to be fulfilling over the summer. A lot of people reaching out to us, a lot of focus groups, a lot happening. So stay on top of it with me. Please, I urge all of you, read about what's going on in California, because there is, remember, these are bipartisan issues, does not belong to any party at all. These are human rights abuses, whether it's our children. Again, let me remind you, there's so much censorship. But there's not censorship for this CSAM, this child sexual abuse material, the biggest crime in the world. Why, after all, Nigeria is admitting and laughing at us in the United States, how they are sextorting, especially teenage boys, pretending to be somebody else, getting them to share a nude image, and then threatening them. And it's all happening within, 24 hours, and we have kids actually killing themselves. So these are the issues we need to talk about. I leave you with our children, our precious children, are our future adults, our future leaders in America. And I also leave you with, when I heard yesterday some simmering, some bubblings behind the scenes that Joe Biden now is going to take some actions on the border. Well, where has he been? Because we have in excess, I don't know what the studies are, stats. Remember, they're never correct. They're always higher. 10 million plus. So by the time we get to the election, which is 6 months away, that could be, who knows? It could be 20 million. When I ask law enforcement, on the border, what's the true number? What do we know about? They're like, this is what we know, 10 million plus, but what about all the gotaways? So we have a lot to work on, but don't get discouraged. This is a day of hope and healing. And remember, don't get mad. Get motivated. Get motivated. Step up. This is the time for our country that we can engage each other, educate each other, empower each other, our precious children. So remember, each and every day, community creates change. You will follow lynswarriors.org. I've got a new newsletter going out tomorrow. I'm just putting some finishing touches on it. Please subscribe to that. You go to the website, lynswarriors.org. You scroll down on the right side, and it says e-newsletter, and you just sign up, because there's so much information on a daily basis. I'm inundated with it. Remember, it's up to us. With all of this censorship, with all of this criminality, mainstream media, they're not getting to any of this, or very little of it. I advise you to turn that off. Again, I can't tell you what to do. Turn it off. Seek alternative methods. You've got the Warriors. You've got various platforms. See what I recommend on the Warriors, and then follow them. See who I'm following on Twitter. Look through those accounts. Follow them. They want you to be distracted. They don't want you thinking about any of this. So on Friday, May 31st, as we enter into the summertime, kids will be getting out of school soon. They'll have time on their hands. Make this commitment. Become dedicated. Don't let our children be the price of paying for these criminals. Big tech is not being held accountable. Our Congress, both sides, not doing their jobs, in my opinion, despite a lot of noise about legislation. Well, we're going into June, and a lot hasn't happened. It's up to each and every one of us. So take a breath, hug your kids, do something for yourself, cup of tea, hot bath, turn off all news if possible, seek out very reliable, perhaps foreign, because foreign platforms really give me most of my American news much better. I don't listen to any of those other mainstream platforms or cable news or any of that stuff. You can't. But we must stick together. There is a war on for our children, I guarantee. It is 2024. You can no longer sit on the sidelines. Each and every one of us must and can do something. Subscribe to this channel. Make sure you do, and hit the little bell so you're notified. And also, when I put out these videos, please put likes. I'll answer any comments. Write to me even, Lynn at lynswarriors.org. Let us use this day to not be mad, but to get motivated. And let's protect our children. Remember, each and every day, go out and be a warrior.